when I was given the opportunity to leave the ghetto, I proved to be someone great. Kept telling me, George, you're a good player, you just need to work hard, and you're going to be one of the best players in the world. When I looked in front of me, I saw 3 players, and I felt that I could run past them. Today, I'm going to score. Our brother in the ghetto, live in the ghetto, we are stereotyped, whether you are good or not. But once you are from the ghetto, people don't think differently of you.
George Weah came from Gibraltar. It's a slum community. Things very difficult. People are in destitute, impoverished community. You hardly get a day's meal.
As a young person at the time coming up, he mastered the coverage, got addicted to football, played football right here on this pitch in this area.
For most young boys in Liberia, football was more than just a hobby. It was the only way out of a country ravaged by poverty and violence. And for George Weah, it was with the Young Survivors youth team in Claratown that his incredible journey began.
That meant a lot, and that was our starting point, the Young Survivors. We had to go there to struggle to survive, but we were doing good things, and our team was very great. So when I started playing for Invincible 11, and I had the opportunity to go to Cameroon, I took that opportunity because I felt that if I get to Cameroon, there are a lot of scouts in Cameroon coming from Europe could see me, with all this wasted talent, and so they won't be wasted, but it will be used, for the world to see that even in Liberia, this little country has talent.
It is an unbelievable story from start to finish, because one day I had a friend called Claude Leroy, who was a national coach in Cameroon. And I was coaching Monaco, and he came to watch training, and I told him, I would like to give a chance to an African boy. I said to him, you know what, look around, and I call you every Monday night. So every Monday I called him persistently, have you not seen the player? He said, you know the guy I talked to you about, he's quite doing well. And I said, okay, I send you somebody who will watch him when there is a big game.
We won our first game 1-0. I scored the lone goal. But I fell and I broke my hand, and preparing for that game, and I had a cast on my hand. For 2 weeks I couldn't train. And then I kept telling the coach I can make it, because I knew those people were coming to see me. So I showed them my hand, I said, see, I can play it. And then I put a bandage on and I said, I can play this game.
I called him straight away after the game. I said, how did it go? He said, I didn't see a lot, because he looked like he played with a broken arm. He had a big bandage on his arm. But the only thing I know, every time he touched the ball, the crowd was excited.
Then I left for Monaco, and I met a good person, a father figure, Coach Arsene.
It was 1988 when Arsene Wenger brought George Weah over to Monaco. And he knew that beneath the rough edges of Weah's raw talents, there was a diamond waiting to shine through.
He came at the age of 23, and he came absolutely overweight, clumsy, and if at that time you had said to anybody this guy will become the biggest player in the world. They would all have laughed at you because some players said, that I bought for a while a Conference League player.
And he kept telling me, George, you're a great player, you just need to work hard. You're going to be one of the best players in the world.
He couldn't score goals, but I told him, do you want to become a player? He said, yes, yes. Do you want to become a very good player? He said, yes, yes, yes. Okay, you train, and at night you wait, and we go for a run together, And every night he was on time. And we went for a run. I was a good runner. I was very young, 37 years old or 38. So, and every night he was there. He went for the special training and slowly became slimmer.
He took care of me like his son, and I couldn't believe it, because when racism was at the peak, and the only accent taught me that a black man and a white man can live together. Every time I goes on the field, I was playing for Arsene Wenger. Yes, I was a player of Monaco, but I wanted him to know that what he have done for me, this is the way I could pay him. So I could break my knee, my face, my hand for him, just to win a game.
In Liberia, George, he never had that sense of scoring. He was always the dribbling type, He basically played for amusement.
George Weah was always a winger. He loved to dribble, great skills. He took on the whole defense. Someone say he took on the whole city. He was a dribbler. It was in Europe. He was transformed to a centre forward thanks to Arsene Wenger.
I played him only centre forward, but he got in front of defenders, unbelievably. The ball over the top, defender is first on the ball. You think, what happens? No, my George is in front of him suddenly. I don't know he had the technique to get in front of the defenders.
When a coach look at you with talent and say, you know what, the best thing I can do for you with all your talent is for you to be free on the field. Help press, move if you can move. So that was the work of Arsene.
And then just suddenly, after 7-8 months, he went from strength to strength, and he became an unbelievable player. In 1 year, he became a star. And it's the biggest, the most spectacular transformation I've ever seen. And he shows that in football you have just to be humble and give people a chance.
After 66 goals and 1 Coupe de France in 4 years at Monaco, French giants Paris Saint-Germain made a move for the prolific striker.
At that time, Canal Plus bought Paris Saint-Germain and invested heavy money, much more than we could afford in Monaco. And he moved then to Paris Saint-Germain when he was already a star.
He wasn't the best shooter. He wasn't the best dribbler either. He wasn't necessarily the best at anything. But he was the one who achieved his goals. He was the one who never gave up. He was the one that you could count on.
But I was happy for him as well, because he put so much effort in, started his career at 24, basically, and I knew I had not much time left to make a big career.
He brought us more confidence, as you could always rely on him. He was able, and I mean on top of just scoring goals, which is of course the main strength of a striker, but he could keep the ball in an advanced position up the field, which allowed us to move up the pitch as a team.
To win a trophy at the end of his first season was a great way to end the campaign. We finished second in the league, and it was a period when there was huge competition with Marseille. So the fact that we won the cup was not bad for us.
In his first season with PSG, Weah inspired his new side to become a force on the European stage, culminating with a remarkable second-leg comeback in a UEFA Cup quarter-final against the imperious Real Madrid.
It was a match of huge importance, because Real Madrid was, is, and always will be a legendary club. But we wanted to take our revenge because they scored a last-minute penalty. And we had Alan Roche sent off in the first leg. George scored with a precise header in the first half after a free kick. He was very, very good at this.
The second leg in Paris was amazing. It was so emotional. The fact we were winning 3-0 meant we were going to qualify. But then they scored to make it 3-1, and suddenly we weren't heading through. So we had to play extra time. When Antoine Kombouaré scored, us and the fans became hysterical, because at that time we lived with the Parisians. And we had a real connection with the city.
They would eventually be knocked out by Juventus in the semi-finals. But the following year, Weah helped PSG to their first Ligue 1 title for 8 years. His brilliance in front of goal helped secure a cup double in 1995, but it was his European performances that were really drawing attention.
George seemed to score in every game, in every match of the European Cup. He was driven by the big events, and you knew you could always count on him.
For Weah, one goal in particular stood out that season.
One of the players from Bayern Munich, I don't know who, said that George Weah is not he'll come to Germany, he's not going to be one of the top strikers. And then my friend read a newspaper, he called me, he said, "Are you playing the return leg?" I said, "Yes." He said, "If you don't go to Germany and kill those defenders, I don't want to talk to you anymore." I said, we joke around, and then we got to the game, and Fernandez told me, "You know what? We already qualified, so you are not playing." I said, "If I get on the team, then you must make me play for 15 minutes because those guys, I got payback, and I want to meet them because today I'm going to score." I had an opportunity, and I let it go. I let it go. Yeah.
Now impressing some of Europe's biggest clubs, Weah himself had eyes for only one.
When I played against Milan with all the great defenders, I mean, the strong four, I was like, wow, it's a great team. When I leave Paris, I need to go to Milan.
At the time, Milan was the biggest. Berlusconi was in his prime, power, money. Milan was the dominating team in Europe, so they bought George Weah. So it was absolutely fantastic for him.
One of the things with George Weah was that he was greeted with a bit of skepticism because at the time, Serie A was far and away superior to just about every other league.
At the beginning, we had no idea, because we really didn't know anything about him. We'd heard about him, but it was nothing like what we eventually saw on the pitch. That was where he showed himself to be really extraordinary, a player with great technique and speed, a very important player.
But then people realize that he's so fast and so strong and so subtle in his movements that you can't stop him. Everything is a mismatch.
Weah arrived in 95, 96. It's a pity he arrived 1 year later, as we needed him the year before. But it was fundamental that year because we won the league again against a Juventus team that was improving and was very strong.
The arrival of George Weah meant the continuation of that AC Milan tradition of having great strikers. After Van Basten, Weah was able to follow in the steps of that great champion and show all his power and his elegance. Because he was very elegant when he was moving around the pitch. And he was also very strong and technically gifted.
He was fundamental for us. because he scored some important goals both in the league and in Europe. An extraordinary player, an extraordinary striker, superb physical and technical qualities.
I earned my position in Milan, because I work hard, and they all love me, because some part in the game, they all look up to me, call me Lion King, Lion. Gave us on the African voodoo. And then I laughed. I said, no, I don't have African voodoo, but don't worry. God is there. We're going to win. We just joke around. It was a great team.
These extraordinary qualities saw Weah named European and African Player of the Year. More notably, he became the first African player in the history of football to be named FIFA World Player of the Year, an award he dedicated to his former mentor.
I was there by coincidence because I was in Milan, I watched the game, and he said, and my luggage didn't arrive, I had to wait for the next day for the luggage. He said, look, I have the FIFA award tomorrow night, I would like to invite you, come to it. It was Monday night. I went in there, no dress, dressed like very casual. The guy didn't want to let me in. I said, I am invited by George Weah. He said, there are 200 people standing out here who would like to go in and say that. And in the end, I got in. Not only did I get in, George Weah became World Player of the Year.
George Weah! George Weah che ritorna per la seconda volta sul nostro palcoscenico.
And he called me on stage and said, look, that is for you.
I want to say a special thanks to somebody in the house, Mr. Arsene Wenger. I don't know if he's around. Coach Arsene Wenger of AS Monaco. Coach, could you please come?
He made me everything that I owed it to him. So the best thing to do was to give him the symbol of the Ballon d'Or, to have one, and to show to him that, I appreciate him. This is what I call him on the stage.
But I will give him this.
Your prize.
As a friendship through Europe. I want you to keep this. This is for me, but I want you to keep it because he deserves this more than I do. Thanks, Mr. Coach, for everything.
Allora, se avete forse molti capiscono l'inglese.
My colleagues, Trapattoni, Capello, Lippi, were inside. They were under shock because we are not used, that the players are grateful because that's normal. They take care about their career. I think he struck the whole football people with his class, to have that maturity, that grateful attitude was really unbelievable on the night.
He's inspired this whole country to see a Liberian being called the best footballer in Africa, the best footballer in the world. That has not left the mind of the Liberian people.
It's down to him what it is. Of course, for 98%, it's down to him, and the 2% was down to me. I was the one who gave him the chance, but he had the attitude, he had the class, he had the talent.
On the opening day of his second season with Milan, the newly crowned World Player of the Year scored the goal that immortalised him in Italian and world football.
I remember that goal against Verona. It came from a corner. It was a corner I conceded, by the way, so that counts as an assist. He then ran the length of the pitch to score that goal, and the whole of the San Siro gave him a standing ovation. It was extraordinary.
The ball came right where I was, and I controlled the ball. When I looked in front of me, I saw 3 players, and I felt that I could run past them. When I got to that point, what I was shield, and I got out of that, and then what I wanted to do, it worked perfectly. Put the ball around the players and pass, and then when I got to the goal, I said, wow. Take my time and place it in the corner. That was it.
Weah claimed a second Serie A title with Milan in the 98-99 season, but fell out of favour the following year. In January 2000, he joined English Premier League side Chelsea on loan until the end of the season. Despite only playing a handful of games for the West London side, Weah instantly became a hero with the Blues as they went on to win the prestigious FA Cup.
I came to England, they just showered me with love. You know, Georgie boy, Georgie boy, Georgie boy. And I think that's helped me. But I was, a little bit sad when I had to go back to Milan after we won the FA Cup. When Vialli came to me, you're going to stay or you're going to go? I said, well, I think Milan want me to go back. But I wanted to sign, and it didn't happen. But a great team, great people. So England was good, Chelsea was good.
After short spells with Manchester City, Marseille and the United Arab Emirates side Al Jazeera, Weah announced his retirement from football in 2003. Sadly, his international career with Liberia largely went unnoticed, but his efforts for his beloved country went much further than just out on the pitch.
One cannot quantify the level of assistance that George Weah has rendered or done for Liberian football.
He bought the kit, he supported financially the team, and it was George Weah's national team.
During the war, we invested a lot of money, millions of dollars for the national team to be successful, because we felt that it was good for our country, when people were calling Liberian savages because of the image of the war, but the sports was the one thing that people could talk about positive for our country.
We talked a lot about Liberia, and it was a drama, and the trauma as well. He was slaughtered in Monrovia. They spent nights on listening to the radio, trying to know what happened.
During that time, my country was bleeding, and I thought that, when I'm done, a lot of things need to be put in place, to bring about peace and stability in my country. The way I would do is to, try to join the government.
We used to regularly chat about global politics. I remember I told him, for a bit of fun, wouldn't it be great if one day he'd be president of Liberia and I'd be the president of Guyana, and we could organise a meeting between the two presidents?
In 2005, Weah ran for president of Liberia after setting up his own political party, the Congress for Democratic Change. Despite being a hugely popular figure, his opponents cited his lack of formal education as a handicap to his ability to lead his country. Many believe that perception cost him the election.
I went back to school, earned 2 degrees, That's a big change for me. And I work with government now, I understand government policy, the way government work, and I see my people differently, from that kids that were playing from the ghetto of Jersey, because I understand people's plight.
As a politician, Weah is still finding his feet. But as a footballer, he was the greatest African player ever to play the game. From 1988, Weah scored over 200 goals in just over 500 club matches. He won the French League title once and Serie A twice, as well as numerous domestic cup competitions. But more than that, he put Liberia and African football firmly on the map.
Everywhere I go, people recognize me, and with respect, because I give them respect, and I want to stay that way, Small or big or tall, I want to give you respect, because I believe that that's the way it should be done.